Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome and thanks so much for joining me. Whether you're watching on Facebook or if you're catching the replay on YouTube, I'm so happy you're here. I'm Nan and I help people slow down, get creative, and stay connected, whether that's crafting together or you making a handmade card that means something. So grab your favorite beverage and get ready to learn more about some of the products I use. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. So hopefully it is not too early to talk about Christmas cards. Don't groan. I know if you're a crafter, you know you have to start early. So even though I am against Christmas in the stores before, let's say mid-November, I'm okay a little bit before Thanksgiving. But crafting, you got to get going now or already. So we are using Christmas stuff tonight. I'm using the Merriest Tags Bundle, and it may work a little differently than you think when you first see this, okay? So, it looks kind of one way. I'm going to show you how it works, all righty? So let us get started. First of all, we have our stamp set. And these tags right here are actually one big stamp. So you can stamp 3 at once very easily. They are always spaced exactly the same, no matter how many times you pull them out and stamp them, right? So because this is a very long image, it's pretty big for a Stampin' Block. I think it will fit on our biggest block, but I feel like I'm going to get better control with my Stampin' Positioner. So I'll pull that out. I've just got a half a sheet of cardstock here. It's more than I need, but it's fine. And then I'm going to put my stamp down, image side down. And then this plate just acts like a big Stampin' Block. It's got 2 holes in the corners here, and those are going to line up with these pegs. And these pegs are squishy, like they're on springs. And then there's little feet here on the other ends, and those are also on springs. So we're going to go ahead and pick up our stamp. The cardstock's going to move because the stamp is sticky, and that's fine. If it was something that you'd like, if I had die cut these first and needed those to stay in place, you could use a little bit of adhesive on the bottom or something like that for it to stay in place. But I'm not fussed about that right now because I don't need it to stay in place. So I'm going to go ahead with our shaded spruce. I'm just going to take the pad to the stamps because something this big, trying to ink it up with the stamps to the pad, which you could do, is a little more difficult, I feel like. So when you're using the Stampin' Positioner, because the plate is so large, it's easier to just take the stamp very gently, or the pad very gently to the stamps instead. So we'll do that. We will flip it over. I'm going to line my holes up with my little pegs there. And now I've just taken my hands off of it. It's fine. And it has not stamped yet. It won't until I push it down, until I activate those springs, basically, which is a nice little feature because, oh, maybe I noticed that I haven't inked up a part yet or something like that. Or maybe my hands aren't super steady. So now I'm just going to press it down. You don't need a lot of pressure, but you do want some even pressure. And voila, a perfectly stamped image. So if I had missed a part, maybe I didn't, apply pressure evenly, I could either re-ink or just go right back down and stamp it, and it'll be in the exact same spot. So I can fix mistakes very easily with the Stamp Positioner. I love that because I know we have all made mistakes when we're stamping, and I'd rather not throw this whole piece of paper out or cardstock out because I goofed. All right, so we're going to get that out of the way for right now. Let's see here. So I've stamped all 3 images at once. It's really, like I said, really great Stampin' Positioner. Takes a lot of the stress out of stamping, especially if you have arthritis or anything like that. It really helps with a lot of that stuff. Okay, let me clear some space here. Now we need to die cut these. And when you look at the dies, this die is also one piece. So we're going to go ahead and die cut all three of these at once. And that saves us a lot of time. And let me tell you, at Christmas time especially, right? It's really nice to get things done 3 times as fast. So, and if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I make our own Christmas tags every year, even when it's, because okay, little truth session here. As an ADHDer, I have something called time blindness, which means I can never really accurately predict how long something's going to take me. So very often I will think, yeah, I'm going to get, so many tags done tonight, and then realize, oh, it's taking like twice or 3 times as long. So this die and stamp is going to be really nice this year because it's going to cut down on the time. And the nice thing about these images as well is that they don't really need to be colored in. I am going to color that one in, the little vines, the swag, whatever you want to call it. But it's not necessary. So that also saves you some time. Okay. So I will only be making one card for you tonight, but I do have the other 2 samples to show you at the end. So make sure you stick around so you can see what else I have made with these images. Let's see. I'm also going to stamp a couple of my stockings to use with tonight's card. Here it is. I'm like, I thought I had these all ready to go. So again, I'm just going to do this in the shaded spruce. And I realized that it's been a little bit since I have colored on camera. And coloring is, I think, very important to show you all because I know plenty of people have hangups when it comes to coloring. I know I did. I hated to color in images for a very, very long time, even, as a demonstrator. And I'll tell you that I just never liked the way they turned out, right? So I just didn't do it. And I avoided buying stamps that needed to be colored in to look good. So it cut off a whole part of our line for me. I don't like that. So, but then the Stampin' Blends came along, and I'll tell you, these have been my saviors. So if you love to color and you find it relaxing and everything, we have so many different options. We've got watercolors and watercolor pencils and Stampin' Pastels and the blends and all sorts of things, right? If you are less than thrilled with your results in coloring, I would recommend the Stampin' Blends to you all day, every day. They are just simply fabulous. So each of our blends coordinates with our color line. So this is the Poppy Parade, and they come in sets of 2, one darker and one lighter of the shade. So they will coordinate with everything else Poppy Parade in our line. So what I like to do, first, I'm just going to color the stripes up top here. Kind of do a little red and white deal. And for this, I'm not going to do any shading. I'm just going to straight up color in one shade. That's it. Let me get you a little closer. Apparently that's as close as we're getting. So now, if you want to do some shading, and you don't have to, too, so if you're worried about coloring, I recommend just starting without worrying about shading or any of that kind of stuff. Just color in like you were in kindergarten or first grade and you've got a coloring book. Just go for it. If you want some shading, I personally like using the dark shade first and kind of going where my shadows would be. So I'm just going to go kind of under the cuff and around the toe and the heel, just like that. So I've laid down a little bit darker of the color. Then I'm going to take the lighter shade of Poppy Parade, and I'm going to go over that line and continue and fill in that whole area. I want to kind of stay away from the edges totally, like I'll fill in, but don't stick near the edges because your blends will tend to kind of bleed out if you, and if you get too close to the edge, it'll bleed beyond the line. So what we've got here is a little bit of shading around there, but it's blended very well. And as it dries, it will continue to blend really well. Let's see. I'm going to do the same thing on the heel and the toe of this one. We're just going to go kind of along that line. And you can always go back over these too. So if you decide after this dries for a minute that, you know what, that's not enough shading, add some more and then blend it again. You can literally layer this color on so much. And it's really a personal preference too as to how you like it to look, right? So don't ever worry about comparing it to somebody else because you'll develop your own style of coloring. I know I have. So again, now I'm taking Granny Apple Green and I'm going to do my little shading. I will do both of these. And I am using the bullet tip of these blends, but we also have a brush tip so you can get more coverage if you want. But these are pretty small stockings, so I feel like I need to stick with my bullet tip so I don't go outside the lines. Because I don't want it to look that much like kindergarten, right? And again, you want to go over that line from the dark marker as well, because it will blend the two together and give you that cool, subtle shading that you're looking for. I actually want to go over this line a little more. And there you have it. There is your little lesson on coloring if you needed it. And if you didn't, thanks for watching anyway. Okay, so like I said, don't shy away from things. Don't go out and buy all the stamps that need to be colored if you're worried about it. You know, get like one and just deal with that. That's fine. Okay, so now we need to cut these out as well. And we have die cuts for that. Or dies for that, I should say. And I need to crank you back up, or okay. So I actually already have one cut out, so I'll just cut this other guy out. You're not getting a focus on that. There we go. So yes, with our dies, they will go all the way up to that image line. They will leave a white border because the blade that cuts is actually set back a little bit, but the opening that you'll be looking through will go right up to the image. And if you haven't been following me for a minute, you might be wondering what I'm using. This is Post-it tape, and it basically just holds those dies still so they don't scooch while I'm trying to die cut things. It is a lifesaver. I love it. All right. So that is all of our die cutting that I'm going to show you tonight. I did much more, obviously, when I was making samples. I think we need a cute little greeting here, and let's pull our Poppy Parade in, because I think we need a little more red on this card. And this will be Holly Jolly. Perfect. All right. So then I was looking around my craft room trying to decide kind of what to put with this to make a good background. And I decided on a piece of the Lovely Blossom designer paper. I absolutely love this. So For those of you that are my age or older, perhaps you'll remember mattress ticking. And this is kind of what your mattress used to look like. If you don't know what that is, I apologize. I'm a grandma. So, deal with it. I am going to attach the tag with dimensionals. There they are. Like I knew I put them in a place so I could find them. So just one on each corner here. And these tags will be awesome on our presents this year because, you can do the to from, which is included in the stamp set. So you can just stamp that right on there and just write your names, you're good to go. Or you can be a little more creative. You can decorate one side and do the to from on the other side and kind of switch them up. Now I'm going to take my liquid glue and attach my stockings. This one will go up this way. Just a cute little slanted guy. And this one's going to be hanging off the bottom of this tag. And because this tag is bumped up on dimensionals, right? We don't want this, we don't want to just smush this down with liquid glue because that'll be weird. But it's going to hang off. So I only want to put a dimensional on that toe. And then I'll put a little bit of liquid glue on the cuff up here. And so then the dimensional will be down here, and the liquid glue will hold that top on, and it will all be at the right height. Cool? So anytime you have something kind of hanging off of a dimensional piece like that, you want to think about where your dimensional needs to go to where it's hanging off. All right. So then I've just got thick white cardstock, and I will tell you, if you're mass producing cards, it's really good idea to think of one card base that's going to go kind of with everything. So if you're doing some variations or even different stamp sets, maybe pick a color theme or just go with just the thick white because it's perfect and you can just have a bunch of those ready to go and then just put your card fronts on top. So, okay. Let's see here. Yep. I am on track, you guys. Checking out my notes. I had to sacrifice this pretty flower piece, but I do love that stripe. So you know how it is. I have like 2 packs of this stuff left. So I have plenty of these flower pieces. So that is just going to go right on here. And we are not done yet. We are still keeping it simple, but we are not done yet. Next, I'm going to take my, what is this? 5/8 inch or something? Yeah, 5/8 inch cloud cover. Look at the shimmer on that. It's so pretty. We're going to make a fork bow. So last month, I was the one that volunteered to do the project for our group meeting. And I taught everybody how to make a fork bow. And one of the women wanted to leave as soon as she found out we were doing this. And then she made it and she was so happy she stayed. So don't be afraid of the fork bow. I usually leave my ribbon on the spool because that way I'm not wasting any. I can cut it pretty quickly, and down to where I want it. So I hold my fork in the left hand. You need one with 4 tines. I guess you might be able to get rid of, go with just 2, but you need a middle section basically. So if you have 4 tines, then you have 3, divots, holes, rows, whatever. And however wide your fork is, that's how wide your bow is going to be. So from one bow to the next bow to the outside, of each, that's how wide it's going to be. So if you need a really, really big bow, go get a pitchfork. But if you need a bow for a card, a nice salad fork is a great thing, like a serving fork. Okay, so I'm going to go over from my right side over the front, bring that end around on top of this, and then feed it through the middle section underneath. So I will hold this for a second so you can see how we've done this, right? We came around the front, we went over the top, and then underneath through the middle. Now, it used to be that I told you to hang on to this and put this one through, but no. I found out that if you just keep working with this one you have, bring it to the front instead, through that middle one, and then just tie it. One single knot, that's all you need. Then you can just slide it off your fork, and there is your perfectly tied bow with even sides. Everything looks great, right? And then I can just trim it how I want. You can zhuzh it a little bit as well, but the cool thing is it won't come untied because you knotted it. You didn't tie it like a regular bow. So you can kind of fiddle with it until it lays just the way you want it to. So I'm going to cut this side at an angle. I'll trim this side down a little bit. And then we're going to attach this. And so instead of obviously feeding the ribbon through and trying to tie a perfect bow, which some people can do, and I cannot always, I'm going to just attach this with my glue dots so it looks like it would have been coming out of that hole, right? So for this, I can either take my little glue dot, which is right here, and put it onto there. Now it's stuck to the card. Or you could take something like take your pick tool and peel it off of there and then stick it down. Either way works just fine because it's all going to be hidden. So it doesn't matter if it's a little smooshy. So I'm just going to pop that up there, stick those two ends down. And the way I attached it will also keep these ends going side to side like I wanted them to. And then the last thing we're going to do is attach a few embellishments just to give it that final zhuzh, right? So I've got some nice white gems. This is the Pearls of Beauty set, which is actually on our last chance list. So if it's one of the ones you like, you should grab it now. So we'll put one there, put one down here, and the final one over here, making our nice little triangle, right? Odd numbers are pleasing to the eye. Let's get this cleaned up a little bit, and I can show you the other ones as well. But yes, there is our full card out of a Christmas tag, right? Super simple, but it's got enough fun that people will still be like, "Oh, you made that, how pretty," right? That's the reaction we love. They know you love them then, but very easy to mass produce. So now I've got the swag circle here. I took one of the other stamps in the set and just did a tone on tone, 3 stripes of, stamping, colored in our leaves and our poinsettias. And then I took those same white embellishments and I colored them with the Stampin' Blends. So you just want to go over them with the side of your brush tip and it will color them whatever color you've got. So I just added those in my little triangle. And the last one was our little oval tag. And I grabbed some pecan pie paper and cardstock and did our Forever Plaid embossing folder on it because I thought it would look cute, kind of these candy canes hanging there and then the little tag hanging in the same direction. And with this one, I happened to take our crumb cake. I almost said creamy caramel, which is like, I don't know, 15 years ago. Sometimes that happens, guys. But yeah, our little candy canes here, I put up on dimensionals just on this part. And then I just hooked them over my little bit of twine. And if you've ever dealt with twine, you know that it doesn't always make a huge impression. So I actually tripled up the twine and made a little knot through the tag so it would kind of beef it up a little bit, right? So there you go, a trio of Christmas cards done in no time. I whipped those up together in no time yesterday. So I will add the supply lists for each of these cards to tomorrow's email. If you have not subscribed to my email yet, What are you waiting for? I say this all the time. Go to stampernan.com. That'll show you exactly how to sign up for the emails. It is free and you can unsubscribe anytime you want, but you're not going to want to. You can definitely look forward to more Christmas cards from me soon, I am sure. Okay, so for that, thanks for spending part of your day with me, and I will see you again soon. Happy stamping.